Morning, everybody, and it's Monday and it's Start Your Day on SPTV. I hope that you've had a fantastic weekend, even though the weather might have been a bit wet and blustery wherever you are. But we are here to cheer up your Monday morning, whatever you're doing. And with Chris still off poorly, I've got the wonderful Emily Baker to co-host with me this morning. Good morning, Emily. Nice to see you.
Morning, lovely to be here. Thank you very much for having me. Thank you.
That's all right. Do you know we've had it's girl power this past fortnight, because last week we had Ashley and this week I've got you. So it's a little bit of girl power, which I quite like. So that's quite good, even though we're looking forward to having Chris back with us next week. So we're going to have a wonderful chat today and talk about lots of different things. And of course, all the stuff that's coming up this week on the show. We'll have our wonderful outside broadcaster, Kate May, giving her tarot scope a little bit later on. And I know all you lovely viewers love that. So look forward to that. We've got a fantastic topic that we're going to be discussing. And also we're going to be doing readings because Emily's here with her cards. So that's going to be quite amazing as well. So we're going to have some card readings, mediumship readings, and a wonderful chat. But before we do that, let's say hello to our wonderful SPTV family. Let's see who's out there and see what things have been happening around you. Tell us what the weather's been like. Have you been affected by the storm? Richard was saying he went out yesterday and he didn't get he didn't notice any difference in the weather. Emily's had a bit of a blustery time where she is. We've had quite a bit of wind and rain in good old Lincolnshire. So tell us what you've been up to, especially in the different parts of the world, and how you've been doing and what's been happening, because the weather affects many different things. You can hear it all on the radio about, roads closed, people trying to get through with traffic delays and what have you, and also trains and buses too. So it does have a big knock-on effect with our everyday life. So please let us know what you've been up to, because we like to hear all your gossip as well. So I don't know who's on at the moment, but I'm sure Richard will put up some names at the minute. All right. We're going to be doing readings throughout the show, so stay with us throughout the show today. Put your comments up, any questions, anything that you want us to look at, then we will talk about that as well. And we're starting now we'll start with our hellos. So hello, Lationa from New South Wales in Australia. So lovely to have you with us.
Helen. Hello, Helen. Morning.
Oh, Helen's one of our regulars. It's lovely to see you, Helen. Hello, Cheryl, also from Adelaide in Australia.
Excellent. Fabulous. Marion. I was going to say, actually, while we're also, hello, Marion, I was also going to say about water as well. So about having a look at where water lies. I did a quick philosophy about that yesterday. Hello, Lauren. Hello.
That's interesting, because water, a lot of us love sitting by the water as well. Good morning, Kat. Nice to see you.
Hello. Yes, well, it was more about the flood, and water is about emotions, isn't it?
Very true. Yes, it is.
So,
morning, Kim.
Hi, Kim. Oh, nice wedding dress. People getting over flooded with their emotions, overwhelmed maybe as well in certain areas. Hello, Linda.
Hello, Linda. Lovely to see you.
And I also put emotions and communications together as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Good morning, Ashley. Nice to see you on.
Lovely. Looks like hand fasting there. Helen went to London at the weekend for a night of dancing, swing and jive. Excellent. 100 Club with Ray Galeto. Was brilliant, dressed in our fiery 40 staff. Fabulous. Is that where your picture is? Because it's fab.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Where my sister lives in Somerset, they have a 40s weekend and everybody gets dressed up. And my sister said it's absolutely great, to see everybody dressed up in the 40s fashions and everything. Good morning, Leslie Moulton.
Good
Nice to
morning,
see you.
Leslie. Kelly, 18 degrees yesterday. Lovely. 30 degrees today. Oh, no warmer. Boom. From Melbourne,
That's
Australia.
Yes, that's from Melbourne. Yes, it's getting warm out there because they're moving into their summer, aren't they? So
Well,
we're
if you
moving into winter.
yeah, come over here. We'll swap. Amanda, good morning.
Morning, Amanda.
I'm quite happy to do a house swap with you, honestly.
Yeah, I know it would be nice, wouldn't it? Good morning, Debbie. Nice
Morning,
to see
Debbie.
you. Yeah, do you know what? It would be good to do a house swap, wouldn't it? Because lots of people like the different seasons. Hello, Sherry. Nice to have you with us.
Hello, Jasmine. Hello.
A lot of people do that. My friend did that. They swapped with a house in Florida in America, and then they came to the UK. So slight difference, I think.
I would be very careful with Florida when I go because I don't want to hit the tornado seasons.
That's
So,
true. That's true.
or the hurricanes.
No, we don't want them. No,
The
no,
flooding season, yeah.
no.
Yeah,
Good
Sue,
morning,
hello.
Sue.
Good morning, Sue. And Jessica. Hello, Jessica.
Hello, Amanda Jones. Nice to have you with us.
Oh yeah, lovely, lovely to see you all. Hello.
Oh, hold on. We're just getting some. Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, that's nice. Richard has just given us a little bit of information. Tears are 1% water and 99% love. Oh,
lovely.
that's nice.
I love
Well,
water.
we're emotion, yeah.
Yeah.
Helen's just saying, I love water, but I've been flooded badly twice, once at my home and now at my partner's home. Your emotions are all over the place. It made me very ill. Yes, it can do. Being flooded in your home, Helen, can be very traumatic. I had a friend that it happened to, and she couldn't get back into our home for months.
Yeah.
So yes, it was. And Jasmine, you'd be more than welcome to come and see us all in the UK.
Absolutely.
We're a small little island, but it's got a lot to offer, lots of history, some beautiful countryside and beaches. So I'm sure you would love it.
Free night to stay, Richard was saying, basically, if you come over on a boat and a mobile phone. Fabulous.
But I'm sure you'd love it. So come along. Yeah. Sally, we will be doing readings today, so stay online. But first of all, we're going to have a chat. Morning, Jane. Nice to have you with us. We're going to have about a chat about mediumship. Richard has brought this to our attention, and is mediumship easy to manipulate when you're giving a readings? Should we be moving forward and trying to bring more specific information? So the spirit world saying, well, I want to go to that lady with the red coat, and my name is Jack, and I lived I lived at this address. And should it be more specific? Are we becoming more general with our information? What are your thoughts, everybody, about mediumship? And I don't want to make this about, I want this to be a balanced chat, because tell us your positive stuff as well, because I was saying to Emily before we came on, everybody goes into the negative about mediumship, and everybody tells people about the bad things that they've had happen. But let's also bring some positive stuff as well, so that we can weigh up the pros and cons, the yin and the yang about things, because it's good to have a balanced overview. Because both Emily and I are working mediums. We work very hard, as do all the people on this channel on SPTV. And it's also sometimes difficult because we can't see you, we can just get your comments. So we try very hard to bring as much information as we can. Everybody talks about, mediumship was better years ago. But let's have your views, and and I'm sure Richard will come in and give his views, because it's not our intention um to we want everybody to have a positive experience when they come for mediumship demonstrations or mediumship readings. But sometimes it's not so positive. So give us your experiences, both the good and the bad, please. That would be really good to hear, I think.
And I just like to highlight as well, and Karen, that you do readings on here. For those of you who aren't aware or coming onto the channel for the first time and listening to us when we're giving a reading, there is a time delay. So
Yeah.
Richard, bless his cotton socks, is doing all of the techie stuff. So he's getting to see all of your comments. We don't. We only get to see the comments that he puts to us, number one. Number two, there is a delay. There's a delay up to 20 to 30 seconds with Facebook when you put your comment in to us receiving it, and then another couple of seconds for Richard to find that comment and put it to us. So, you know, that delay, that energetic is being interrupted constantly. And you know, that is also another difficult. You know, if you come in and you come in onto the Zoom and you talk to us, that's wonderful, that's great, because we have a reaction straight away. But again, you can have technical issues with that. So, you know, technically I'm trying to, not defending us, I'm just letting you know that technically on SPTV, if I was to do this at home, I would have to filter through all of the comments just to find your comment in amongst everybody else's. So much prefer somebody else doing all of the filtering. But it's just to let you know some of the background of why, you know, we sometimes go quiet waiting to hear your response if we are connected to each other or if it's somebody else as well.
So Emily, do you work, you've mentioned this morning about you do demonstrations, and I know you've got the cards, and I know that you do the spirit art.
Yeah.
So where do you work? Do you work in churches, or do you work you know, in events, or whereabouts do you hang out, shall we say, to do your stuff?
All of the above. All of the above. So I go to churches, centres, events. I'm doing a Halloween event in a pub,
Ooh.
which is, I know. So on Halloween night, they're having a supper, and I'm going to be doing psychic art. So, you know, I'm doing those kind of things. Do charity events. I've got one of those coming up next year. I also do one-to-one readings online and face-to-face as well. And the online ones are on Zoom, but because it's a one-to-one, it's slightly different.
Yes.
This is kind of like a big public arena, so it is very different. And it's very, you know, it's the energetics. It is an energetic. So when I'm at a church or a venue, normally they'll have a song and everyone will sing, and that gets everybody's vibration up. And again, it's a different vibration on here. So yeah, it's a way of working differently as well.
It is, you know, there's lots of different places, there's lots of different avenues where we can work. And, you know, I can remember back to when I first started going to a church, which was a long time ago. And I would listen to the mediums, and I would listen to the evidence, and it was quite a long time until I actually got a message myself. But I would see people in tears. I would see people sort of sit there and say, prove it to me. And you see all different types of mediums. You see all different ways in which they work. And it fascinated me. But the time I got that sort of message that blew me away, where I thought, oh my God, I've never forgotten it. There's a few messages that I've had that have made me think, wow. But then there's also a few messages where I'm thinking, well, you know, that could have been maybe for everybody. Now, do you teach, Emily? Do you teach mediumship as well? Do you run classes?
No, I don't. I don't, because it's really difficult. I find that really quite difficult. How do I teach somebody when I automatically do it? Do you know what I mean? I suppose I just sort of do it. It's quite, yeah, I find that quite tricky. I mean, I've tried doing open circles and just doing a little bit of development about energy and stuff like that. And our perception, I think my perception, all of us, we all have individual perceptions about things. And again, it goes, I mean, behind me, this my background is actually one of my cards, hence why I've got it on there. So what you may get to see on there and maybe something completely different. So if I move this way slightly and I point there, I can see a
Yeah.
lady. You know,
Yeah.
you may not be able to see a lady,
Yeah.
which is a doer, and I can, you know, so you know, different things pop out for different people. Things will grab, but I always thought when I got readings, just like you, it's when your butterflies, when you start to tingle inside, you know, then it's definitely for you. It's not a case of, oh yeah, I can make that fit, or oh yeah, that's sort of. I don't want the sort ofs, I want the yeses.
Yeah.
You know, if it's kind of like yes, yes, oh, sort of, I'll kind of go back and say, okay, give it to me much clearer so that we can get
Exactly.
a yes or a definite no. There is a game I like to play with my readings, and you may do this, Karen, and that's the elimination game. You may not know what I mean by the elimination game. You know, when you have a lot of people all taking the same information,
Yes. Yes.
and then you literally keep on giving the information and the hands start to go down, and then you're left with either one or two. You check
That's
if
right.
they're related, number one.
Yeah.
And that has happened. And number two, you then kind of go and say, right, okay, this is actually for you. Now, I think that's the way the SNU are wanting people to work now. When I started off, it was a case of no, you see a light above someone, or you know you're drawn to that person. That is where you go to. The SNU don't like you doing that anymore.
Well, I think there's a mixture. Okay. There's sort of, you know, a mixture. You
Yeah.
get the mediums that go direct, and then you've got the mediums that give the evidence to get them to where they go. And then you've got the mediums that throw out lots of information and loads of hands go up, and then they go to where they feel drawn. So I think anything goes, but there's always been this argument about direct and non-direct. We can't, you know, we can see names and we can be drawn to that person on here. Especially when you're doing the card readings. With mediumship, I like to get my communicator first. When I'm in a church, I try to go direct, or I try to get the specific information. You go back years ago, it was always like, I want to come to the lady in the green coat, you know, and so they make, but then, you know, and they say, would you understand your mother in the spirit world? Yes, I'd understand my mother in the spirit world. And they give the information. That's direct, that's very quick. But there's different ways of sort of like, I get my communicator first, then I try to allow my communicator, okay, so where do I need to go? Where are you taking me in the church? Where is your family sitting? So I try to be guided by the communicator so that I'm not being psychically pulled to somebody.
No.
I'm getting the communicator first.
Yeah.
And I've done the elimination game with students as well. So to focus their minds on getting more information, because the one that I use, yes, we all got, say, grandma in the spirit world, and we all think of the quintessential grandma with the crossover pinny, baking and smiling and being lovely. But grandma had a life before she was a grandma. So what did grandma do in her life? You know, maybe she was a dancer. Maybe she drove ambulances. Maybe she was a mountaineer climber. You know, this grandma wasn't just always grandma. And
No.
I think if we can get the story from that person's life, that, you know, that gives the depth, the feeling, the character, the history of that communicator, their story. And I think, you know, as mediums, it's important that we do that. We tell their story and share excerpts of their life.
No, I totally agree. I mean, that's how I liked. So comment.
Okay, so
Comments.
can we see? So I think Richard's just said we got some comments. So so we've got Sue here. She just says, I believe in mediumship. I talk to my husband. His ashes are in my bedroom, robins and feathers. Also, I like to think my husband is in bed with me. Well, that's nice for you, Sue, and it's nice that you talk to him. You know, we still wish the presence, the essence, the love that we shared with our loved ones is still there. And it's good that you have, you know, I sometimes talk to my mum, you know, when things were a little bit tough, so especially when she first passed over to the spirit world. Oh, I wish you were here, I could do with a chat now. But what happens with the spirit world is sometimes they send you somebody to talk to, which is also quite interesting. Somebody that's here might give you a call. Are you all right? I just got a feeling that you might need a chat.
Mm.
So it's interesting what the spirit world try and help us with. They can't run our lives for us, but they can help in some way as well.
So Helen's gone and said something here, which is quite interesting. You do have a lot of skeptics, so giving firm evidence with names something that only yourself would know. As a believer, I love everything spiritual, but having something to confirm something different that no one else knows is good. Okay, I totally agree with that, Helen. Names for me, though, can be a bit of a red herring, because I've seen a medium working on platform, and all she ever did was to give out name after name after name.
Yeah.
And you know, you get the Ethels and Mauds, the Hazels, all the rest of it. And yes, you can take the names because they're generic. So names for me, they have to actually sing them at me, shout them at me before I will give them out. So, but I also do think something that different that no one else knows is great. And
Yeah.
me, that I love giving, especially if they go, no, no, no. And then they go away, research it and come back and go, actually, you were right. Because if how am I meant to know something that you didn't even know, you know, about your family? You know, it comes back to that. And it's happened to me. I've had a reading where people have said, oh no, there's a nun in the family. That's not how I went, no, don't be so silly. Took me a year, but I found a photograph and I asked about this old photograph and they said, oh yeah, no, it's your cousin twice removed. Oh, okay. Well, we think so. And I said, well, actually, it is. Just to confirm that, it is a family member. So, you know, I didn't know. It took me a year to find out. So yeah.
Yeah. There are things that we can find that we can find out. But it's interesting if we give a little bit of background of maybe where we can find it. Now, Myra has just said, hello, I had a medium reading a while back. She told us my daughter will be pregnant and my boyfriend's brother will talk again. When one gets sick. I thank you and Karen Emily for your medium reading too. Do you know, for me, prediction is a no-no. You know, you can't tell a person that, you can't say, well, yes, she's going to be pregnant. That is, we're not here to fortune tell or to predict. You could maybe pick up that somebody wants to be pregnant or is thinking about having a family. But there's also the want and the need. What also could the medium can also be picking up is the want of that person to get pregnant, or the want of that person, the love for that person to get well again, because you're picking up that energy, that feeling of the want. So that's where we have to be careful as mediums. We
And
have
also,
to, there's a little bit of a, you know, gray area there. We have to suss out what they really want it, and they want it to happen. And for the medium can't really say it will happen.
no,
So
and
you've just got to be careful there.
yeah, and I would also say pregnancy is one of those ones where you can also see it as a symbolic level of new beginning. And it is about the care and the nurturing that goes into a new beginning of some description as well. So it's you know, there's a lot of interpretation needing to go. Again, if I don't always know what is the past, the present, or the future, I will say this is what I'm being shown. I don't know if that's past, present, or future. All I can give you is what I've got. You've taken everything else that I've given you. You don't understand this. Well, just take it away with you. I cannot tell if it's the past, present, or future. And that's I don't like you. I don't like to do fortune telling. Nice to receive clarification from a different perspective, and bad receiving messages can make us fixated on outcomes. Absolutely, it can make us fixated on outcomes. And I think
what we have to realize here as well is sometimes when we're doing readings, especially on the psychic level, we can see potential in somebody. We can sometimes see their thought, you know, get a sense of what they're thinking about. You know, you could sit down with I could sit down with a student and I could see the potential that this person has a potential to be a good medium. But if that person chooses not to, if they choose to not to attend a church, to maybe go, to get some training, to work with their mediumship, then it's not going to happen. So I think, it's like, if I said to you, Emily, you've definitely got a book in you to write, but if you didn't actually write that book, it's not going to happen. So there's potential in all of us, which mediums and psychics can pick up, but it's then up to the recipient to actually go out and do the work to fulfill that potential. It's
Absolutely. I mean,
about,
yeah, and that comes down to the free will. It's that whole free will thing. And I often, if I have a strong communicator saying, well, this is what you should do, I will step in and I say, me as a medium, I will tell you, it's up to you what you wish to do. You have free will. I am only telling you what they are giving me very strongly. You don't have to take that advice. You don't have to go down that road. You have the choice of doing whatever. So yeah, it is, we all have free will, and spirit also have free will, bear that one in mind as well. So it's they also have to pick us as much as we don't pick them, they pick us to communicate with us, really, because there's some commonality with that as well. So yeah, it's not as easy as people seem to think it is. We can sit there and we can see, oh, what's his name? Oh, what's that? There's another comment.
all right. She says it's nice to receive clarification from a different perspective, and bad receiving messages can make us fixed on the outcomes.
Yeah.
That is true, Jasmine. It is good to receive clarification, and sometimes it can be that clarification. It can be, I think in this day and age we need confirmation. And if we haven't got if your mum or dad or granddad's in the spirit world and you would have gone to them for clarification, for confirmation, for a sounding board, it's nice when they come back and they say, yes, I know that you've been pondering on this. Yes, I heard your conversation with your sister about XYZ. I'm listening. I'm here. I'm supporting you. But I also say to sitters, just because it's going back to that free will, that choice that we have on this life. We can't wait and get everything confirmed and clarified from the spirit world, but it's wonderful to have that support, that love that is still there, that they're encouraging us to move forward with this life as well. So Amanda has just says, don't feel the need to defend yourself. People need to appreciate the difference of being on live or in person. Thank you, Amanda. I think that under the circumstances, you all do amazing, and there will always be doubting people. But please, these people, if you don't believe, then don't go. Yeah, I like your thoughts, Amanda. Thank you for that. We do our best. And we don't force people to come on, or we don't force people to go to churches. But I think that people have an inquisitive mind, don't you think, Emily? They have oh, is there something out there? I think that's what gets people in. Do you not agree?
What I normally hear from ladies is that their husbands will actually come and listen. Will listen to how the evening's gone, but won't come through the door because they're skeptical about it. Sleep that one. Yeah. But again, just remember, there's many more dead people who know you than you know. You have all of your ancestors. Just like to say that.
Very true.
And some people that you forget because you weren't really in touch with them all that often, and that they can come through as well. When I had my first readings way back, I had no clue how spiritual mediums worked because it wasn't explained. Absolutely. I think a lot of people who don't understand or research spirituality are easily made to feel a lot of mediums, etc., are fake, because I understand how it works. I understand why they say what they say, but others may think it's fake. Absolutely. And it can sound vague. I can even say, I will stand there sometimes and say, God, that sounds really vague. Or sometimes I will get a piece of information which is left of center of anything that I've talked about for the rest of the reading, So I just need to talk to you about stop burning toast. And I go, oh my God, I burnt the toast this morning. How did you know? I said, I don't know. I'm just telling you what I've got, you know, it's kind of, it's, you know, it'll come out left or center. You know, we can only give you what we get at the end of the day. So do you know what
Yeah.
I'm thinking? Shall we, I'm going to see if, yeah.
Okay. So I've So when I had, so Debbie is saying, when I had my first reading way back, I had no clue on how spirit or the mediums work because it wasn't explained. I think a lot of people who don't understand or research spirituality are easily made to feel a lot of mediums, etc., are fake. I understand that, Debbie. I do. People go in with the curiosity, but they go in with the skepticism, and that's fine. I don't mind. We don't mind skeptics, do we, Emily? We don't mind that. But what happens sometimes is you can go in, and some people will say, no, it's not for me, it's fake, it's because, but maybe they have that thought in their mind anyway. But if you go into a church and suddenly you think, wow, you know, you get a reading and it changes your life, it makes you look at things in a different way. I did that. I walked into a church. I wasn't born into it. I didn't even know I was mediumistic, really. It's only when I look back and think how things evolved in my early life. But we can think it's fake, but maybe that you go back again and again, because it sort of, someone said, I think I forget who it was who said this to me, you know, the demonstration, the message, when you go for to see a demonstration, it's the hook that gets you into the church. It gets you thinking. But it's not all about just message after message. What it does, it awakens that awareness within you. It makes you realize there's more to life, that we are spirit in a physical body, that we are moving forward, we are evolving. And when you walk into a spiritualist church and you have a reading, and maybe you join a discussion group, or you talk to people, or you might pick up a book and start reading about other people's experiences, or you may move in and go to receive healing from the wonderful healing mediums that are in churches and centres. It's all evolving you. It's all awakening that spirit within. And that's what it's about. It's about you moving forward with your life, you know. But there are some people that will walk in and say, it's not for me, and that's absolutely fine as well. But maybe a few years down the line, they might go into a church and it may be for them.
But
So you just never know.
Yeah, I mean, I think what I was saying before also answers Debbie about it, thinking that it's faking everything. Richard, there was another comment, a long comment up and before Debbie, so I don't know if you can show us that one, or have we already covered that comment as well? But yeah, no, I did. Okay. Okay, so we got another comment.
Okay.
Well.
So we're going to take a short break because we have our wonderful Kate May who's going to give our taroscope for today. So, and I know all of you love this. So for the first time today, it's 11:05, and I'm going to say, roll them, Richard.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to your week ahead tarot readings for each zodiac sign. This is the 21st of October, coming into autumn or spring equinox, wherever you are in the world. You can catch me on katemay.co.uk. Okay, Aries, your week ahead vibe is the Empress. This is a beautiful week for pregnancies, for Mother Nature to bring in you abundance, or just for an abundant week. This week, Aries, you're going to start to feel more comfortable. You're going to feel blessed, and lots of opportunities and possibilities are coming for you. It's a period of growth this week, but it could strongly connect you to somebody who is pregnant or a family member where you feel very loved, very secure. It's a great week, Aries. Growth and abundance. Taurus, a few little battles going on for you, Taurus, this week. You could find that there's a little bit of disagreement or there's some arguments. This card for me is all about stepping back from the drama. Don't get involved, Taurus. If there is different opinions, just know that's all they are. They're a different of opinion, not necessarily right or wrong. Certainly not worth getting your knickers in a twist, Taurus. So step back from drama. Listen to people. It could be a week where everyone's talking, no one's listening. So listen to everybody, but make your own opinions. Gemini, happy ever after. Good news coming this week for you, Gemini, particularly to do with family or your home area. This again is an abundant week for you, Gemini, but a feeling of satisfaction, completion, a completed journey comes around you this week, Gemini. Cancer, waiting for some good news this week, Cancer. You're stepping ahead, you're moving forward. Ideas are going to start to take shape for you this week. The world is your oyster and there is a buzz in the air, Cancer. You're feeling a little bit more fired up, a little bit more excited. Things have moved forward. We're no longer at the idea stage. We're moving a step forward to creation. Leo, look at the cup half full, not half empty this week, Leo. You could be tempted to feel a bit down, feel a bit sad, or allow someone or something to get the better of you. However, look what you've got around you, not necessarily what's right under your nose. There is a better picture around you. There is a better vision. This really is the week to be looking up instead of down. Look at the cup half full, not half empty. Cut your losses. Try not to get drawn down into anything. Don't choose the difficult routes this week, Leo. Look at easier options. Virgo, calm, kill them with calmness. This week, Virgo, this is all about being calm, in control. It is the card of overcoming emotional difficulties or overcoming challenges in that calm way. So it's not about throwing your toys out the pram, Virgo. This is about dealing with people and situations sensitively. But as the king, it's like you're king of your emotions. So we're dealing with things calmly. You're overcoming things, but also, Virgo, you might find that you have somebody who comes in your life who is super calm, super chilled, maybe emotionally mature, around you to help settle you, to help you to bring some balance and restore in that energy. Libra, all is not as it seems. There is things going on behind the scenes that perhaps people aren't talking about or dealing with, maybe trying to bury their head in the sand. So there's more to a situation. So trust your intuition, but know, Libra, that a difficult time will pass. Scorpio, new ideas, new beginnings. We're cutting through things. We've got new contracts coming. There's a new way of thinking for you, Scorpio. This card is like saying we're breaking away from the old. That full moon, we're clearing, we're decluttering as we come into autumn. Scorpio, you've really got some new focus there. Now, if the start of the week is a little bit blurry and not too sure what you're going on, what's going on, what's coming up, trust by the end of the week, you've cut through something. This week, Scorpio, is a breakthrough week. Breakthroughs where your mind is sharper and you're more focused. Sagittarius, trust your gut feeling. Follow things that feel true to you. There could be some secrets that are going to come out. There may be hidden things that are going to come to light. You might be seeking some advice and guidance from somebody in the psychic or spiritual realms there. But ultimately, trust your gut feeling and just know that perhaps something, not necessarily hidden, but I want to say a secret could be bubbling around you, Sagittarians. Capricorn, lead the way. You feel on top of things this week. You're taking charge, you're leading the way, and your experience is actually putting you in a good stead to overcome difficulties, overcome challenges. Actually, Capricorn, this is a good week to be connected to other people, to lead and to be sociable with others as well. There's a little bit of excitement, I want to say, that's coming in this week. Again, very psychic energy, Capricorn. So some of you could be connecting to other psychics or being part of that involvement around you. But it certainly feels it's a little bit more fun around the horizon. And you're coming out of a situation. Your experience, Capricorn, is allowing you now to see things with a bigger picture there. Aquarius, you've got all the tools to do the job. Have the confidence. You can smash this. Dreams can become a reality. Manifestation card, Aquarius. You can have your cake and eat it. You really can manifest what you want. Get going with things. Plan. Think smart. It's Mercury, so think smartly, and you can literally have your cake and eat it. So great week for you, Aquarians, to step out of the box, to take charge, be powerful, but also to manifest new opportunities around you. And Pisces, you're moving into calmer waters. You're leaving things behind that no longer serve you. Trust the process. Easier said than done at times, but do trust the process. There is light at the end of the tunnel. There might be a transition around you, Pisces, when you go from one stage to another, but something better is coming, I promise. Calmer waters are ahead. And in that transition, you'll start to see that the universe has your back, that there is a bigger picture, a bigger plan to get you from one place to another. So trust it.
Oh, wow. Wasn't that wonderful?
It
She's
was.
amazing, our lovely Kate.
Yes.
So thank you to Kate. And we are back. And I'm just going to tell you all what's happening this coming week on SPTV. Tonight at 7 o'clock, we have the amazing Deb Clark. I know that she's a firm favourite with all of you. So tune in at 7 o'clock for Deb's wonderful reading. She's going to be chatting with Spirit. And on Thursday, we have this lovely lady, Emily Baker, will be on with her show at 7 o'clock. So you get her twice in 1 week. So that's absolutely amazing. So that's what's happening on SPTV this coming week. And of course, I'll be back here next week at 10:30 on Monday. So don't forget, tune in tonight for 7 o'clock for Deb and Thursday for Emily. So there you go. So we're going to continue with our little chat because we've got a few comments that we want to look at, and then we're going to be doing some readings as well. So Leslie Morton has just said, wouldn't it be lovely and make things so much easier if Spirit did come through and tell us their names, addresses, etc. I have to be honest, I know many mediums and I have never heard of this happening. I know Gordon Higginson would give phone numbers, roads, etc. I wonder if it's a struggle for them to link with us too.
Oh,
It's interesting. It's interesting, this one, because Gordon
Mm.
Higginson was a very evidential medium, as was Albert Best. Now, Albert Best was renowned for addresses because his job that he did, his day job was a postman.
Mm.
So he was looking at addresses all day long. So that was very much part of him. So the spirit world utilized that job that he did. Gordon Higginson gave wonderful detailed names and what have you as well.
Mm.
But I just want to add to this, and I want you to have a think about this as well, Emily. I want to add to this. I was at a discussion group with a wonderful medium called Tim Abbott. I don't know if anybody knows. And he was talking about the mechanics of mediumship. And he was sort of saying, and he said, he gave a name of a pub and he gave a name and he gave a name of a road. And he said to us, he said, now, do you think that's good evidence? And a few people put up their hands and said it was. He said, it isn't. He said, it's just random names of a road and a random name of a pub.
Mm.
But if you, and he said, in the message, a lady put her hand up because somebody said the Whitechapel Road and the Blind Beggar Pub. And I'm sharing this. I hope Tim won't mind that I'm sharing this story. But and he said that the recipient then put their hand up and said, I can take that. My mother-in-law lived in that road and was the landlady of that pub. So the recipient was actually feeding the medium the information. And he said it would be, and I agreed with him, it would be much better if the medium have said, I have a lady here that lived in the Whitechapel Road and was the landlady of the Black Beggar Pub.
Mm.
That's evidence. That's evidence.
Yeah.
So, but I do know that people do come out with, oh, can you understand Smith Street or something like that? And that maybe that person could, but it's going back to the story. It's going back to the story of that communicator. I lived at that road. My job was.
Yeah.
So yeah, and you know what, Leslie, I would absolutely love, and I have got information in the past like that. I wish I could get it every single time that I work, but it also depends on the medium as well. And we do spend quite a lot of time preparing for ourselves as well. But and our lovely Deb is just here as well.
Yeah.
So she's saying that she agrees with me. Oh, thanks, Deb. And I know that you get some amazing stuff as well. But there is better evidence. It's about the feeling. What do you think, Emily? It's about that, the essence, the feeling.
Absolutely. And you know, it's kind of there is, like I said, I've seen a medium and she's just given out name after name after name, and it's, to me, it's kind of like and okay, well, we can all take a George, we can all take a James, and we can all take a Frank. you know, we can take those generic names. It's not enough. There has to be a bit behind it. And like I've said before, if I get a name, they have to sing it to me, shout it at me, because I don't know if they're living or dead. You know, I can't tell if, is that person who's communicating to me? Is it their name? 9 times out of, no, it's not. Well, why give me a name? That's random. If they give it to me right at the beginning, it's either the person that I need to speak to in the audience or their name. And I'm happy to go along with that. They do give me out random dates, and as in at the end when I'm signing out the date after my picture, they'll give me dates like 17, 24, 36. I don't know what month that's pertaining to, and I will always say that I don't know, these are random to me. And then I'll give out random months, and I'll say I'm not saying that they should be linked together, that I can't seem to write today's month, but they're giving me all of these other months. So it worked, you know, that I will freely admit that, but I say it at the same time. If you can link these two, I'm not saying that they're linked together, but they're poignant months, they're poignant dates in some way, not linking the dates and the months together. But I said, that's what I've got, and that's what I've got at the end. So that does happen to me. And they sometimes will give me numbers, random numbers, and they say, but I say that for me feels like you know, if someone's in the service, it's their service number, or it is their telephone number. It's part of their telephone number. So I will ask, what is that number? What is it?
Exactly.
Because I want to know, because I'm nosy. Straight up,
I'm
nosy. I want to know.
I think most mediums are, Emily. It's interesting. This is an interesting one from Daniel. I also ask Spirit to give me evidence that has happened around the person so they know I'm definitely with them if they can't take the message. Now, this is yes, I understand, Daniel, where you come from, but there's also, I'm being devil's advocate here, if you like, you could also get that information psychically. So the medium has to make sure, am I receiving that from the communicator, or have I dropped to the psychic level and I'm picking up stuff from the person that they've done?
Yeah.
So that's, you know, and you can see it happen sometimes, how you move in and out of the energy. Now, if you, and I've got nothing wrong with working psychically before anybody goes off on, but if the medium knows they're working psychically, and if they say, you know, I just want to link with you on a psychic level for a moment, then they know whether they're linking psychically or when they're linking with the spirit world. But if you say, my granddad or your mum is telling me that you were doing this, or she was around when that happened and you felt her, or the time was 11 o'clock or whatever, then, and you know where that information's coming from, then yes, that's good evidence from the spirit world. But you can pick up stuff around a person psychically as well. So Daniel, just be careful with that, and just be aware where you're receiving the information from.
And can I also add in that other thing that we were talking about earlier offline, off air, and that is about message receivers, your person who you're talking to in the living world. That my example is that I had a lady who came through from the spirit world. She was a vulnerable lady when she was alive. I did go to somebody and I said, can you take it? And she said, no, no, no. And then afterwards came up and said she could accept everything. She didn't want to accept the communicator because she didn't want that communicator to give out something that she didn't want everybody else to know. So she, you know, you will get that happening because it's not the person that they want to hear coming through. And also you get the people who accept everything that you say because they're wanting to receive a message desperately. So, you know, there's 2 ways of also looking at that, Daniel, as well. So, yeah, it's up to the spirit. Deb said it's up to spirit what they give. It's their job to give the evidence to show they survive and know the evidence it will take to prove it is receptive. Absolutely, I totally agree with Deb. Also, just going back to evidence given, I have had feedback from some evidence I gave, and it was I had to go to a lady in the audience, and she was actually working for the police, and I said, I can't give it all. She came back to me I gave her the information on a one-to-one level after the public demonstration. I said, this is what I've got. She took it back, and there was a arrest made from the evidence I gave. So it can work that way. So Ashley.
Absolutely. Evidence is fantastic. This is our lovely Ashley. Evidence is fantastic and blows your mind when it's bang on. Absolutely, Ashley. But I'm looking for the feeling of my loved one. And this is what I was talking about earlier. When it is bang on for me as the recipient, I feel the connection. The loud yes is for the people in the congregation. The loud feeling is between the three of us, the medium, the recipient, and my loved one in spirit. I absolutely agree, Ashley. And I just want to share a little story with you here where that feeling was for everybody. Many years ago, I was in a church. It was when I was first new and I was in the congregation. And there was this wonderful medium called Arthur Clarke, who's now in the spirit world himself. And he gave this wonderful message to a husband and a son. It was from the wife and mum for these two lovely souls in the congregation. And the feeling in the room changed. Everybody could feel that love that was coming from this mum wife to her husband and to her son. And she was talking about, you know, the holiday that they was going to book, and she mentioned that the travel brochures were still, it was so clear to me. It really touched me, and it wasn't even my message. And the travel brochures that were by the sofa that they hadn't moved away, and all these things that they were planning, but sadly she passed to the spirit world quite quickly. And there wasn't a dry eye in the church because everybody received the essence, the feeling of the love from the spirit world in that room. So much so I can, 30 years on, I can still remember to this day that message because it moved me and it wasn't even my message. So yeah. I absolutely agree with you, Ashley. The feeling is really, really important. And my teacher, Janet Parker, used to say to me, nothing sounds as good as spirit feels. So, yeah.
Miss Caseburn said, I had a famous medium tell me my famous client was in the room. She gave me full name. No one knew he was my client. Well, yeah. Yes,
absolutely.
When it comes to famous people, I've only had that happen to me once, where I was giving a reading to someone and I said, do you know what? The information that they're giving me and smoking a cigar, I don't get that bit. That trumpet player, tap dance, do you know what? He looks, it just, to me, this feels like Roy Castle, and this woman just beamed from year to year. And I said, you know, Roy, anyway, I carried on with the reading, and afterwards she said, yes, I was actually his PA and we worked really closely together.
Wow.
He did smoke cigars. So, it was just, I didn't know that. I had no idea. So, it was just, yes, it's lovely. But yes, Amanda, I found that every time I walked into a church, I felt really emotional, not in a bad way. Now that has evolved into knowing spirit is present to the point that I know when I'm going to get a reading. Fabulous.
That can happen sometimes, Amanda. It's like a feeling of you feel sort of at home in the church. It's your people, it's your place, it's where you fit. It's sort of like I can resonate with that completely because I felt that myself when I walked into a church. This feels right. It's like everything's connected. You are where you're meant to be. Yeah. So that's lovely. That's lovely. So she's saying
use it, Karen.
So Amanda says, as you're talking, I can see a lady smiling a huge yellow rose bush. Yeah, absolutely. Sometimes you can see spirit around a person. Lots of people have, so that's interesting. Thank you for that, Amanda. Thank you.
Interesting question. Can you learn mediumship, or are you born with the gift? Well, I would say that we've all got it. Kim, Stephanie. You've asked that question. I would say that we've all got it. It's what happens to us as to what we do with it. And can we bring it back again? So I'm simplifying that in a huge way, aren't I, Karen? I've
It's all
simplified
right.
the answer.
We've all got the intuition, but it's in different levels, really. I'm a great believer that the mediums are born with, we've got that intuition, we've got that psychic faculty within us,
Yeah.
but how we sort of evolve with it, what we do with it. But I believe that mediums are born and not made. With the connection to connect with the spirit world, I think you're born with it. But sometimes people are born with it and they don't know they have it until their sort of adult years. Some people are aware of it as a child, and some people do nothing about it. Again, it's free will. It's up to you. It's up to you. I mean, I've met there was a lady that came to me a few years ago, and she had a lovely gift, but she said, I don't want, I've got it and I use it sometimes for myself, but I don't want to work with it. I don't want to get onto the platform. It's not my thing. So you can use that gift. And also we have so many creative talents within us that we are born with, that we can nurture, that we can grow. It's not just about talking to our dear departed loved ones. We think about all the other wonderful gifts and talents that we have, which is also something that we can nurture. The creative side, that wonderful creative side that we all have. So
It's otherwise known as imagination. And I was always told if you've got imagination, then you can move with it because they use part of that. So,
they do.
It to a certain extent, it is having the imagination. So Helen's put down, I was in a psychic circle once and I was told to read the person next to me, her crystal. She was holding to say exactly what comes to mind. Well, I had cabbages. And thought I can't say that. I gave the one word and she said she was working in a school kitchen chopping cabbages was her job. So
yeah,
it can be the most, we don't have to understand, we as the mediums, and I do believe this, I'm not here to understand the message. I'm nosy, don't get me wrong, I'm nosy and I'd like to know. But I'm not always here to understand the randomness of everything because it is a conversation between you and your loved ones. I'm just that telephone mouthpiece at the end of the day. That's all that I am. I'm the receiver giving out what I have got. If random pieces come in, then random pieces they are going to say, I will give it. It has really, yeah, I don't know what else I can say on that one. You give exactly what is on your mind. As soon as you start thinking, oh, I can't say, you're closing it off and you won't get further information is the best way I can say it.
Well, the thing is, when you do get these random things, and I can completely relate to that because I've got some random things in my time working as a medium. But I've learned now, and when you first sit in a circle and you get these pictures in your mind, if you see a cabbage clairvoyantly, or if you get the thought in your mind, you suddenly think, why am I getting that? So you have to work with that. Okay, I'm seeing a cabbage. Why am I seeing a cabbage? And then so you're looking at it, you're feeling into it, and you say, okay, did they grow them? Did they cook them? Did they not like eating cabbage? Is cabbage a funny sort of thing between the recipient and the communicator? So we work with the information, and sometimes it can be very random, but it's about the trust. I got a packet of Werther's Originals, the sweets, once, and I'm thinking, oh, they're nice. I quite like sweets. And the spirit world know that I love food, and I quite often get a lot of food. And then a thought came into my mind. My mum loved Werther's Originals. They were one of her favourite sweets. And she always used to sort of have a sneaky bag in a bag of Werther's Originals in her handbag. And I just felt that and then all of a sudden I knew that somebody had brought them in, that this person, they sneaked them in, because I remember my mum having a sneaky bag of sweets in her handbag, and they sneaked them into the hospital so that the mum could have the sweets that she loved when she wasn't really supposed to eat them, but they used to sneak these sweets into the hospital. And I gave that information as I've just said it. And the lady came up to me, she said, I knew that you had my mum with you because of what you said about the sweets, because no one knew about that. We used to sneak these sweets into her, and that was her way of sort of telling me it is me, because I'm telling you our secret about sneaking the sweets in. So, you know, they will get their message, they will get their message across. Ah, he's here. Good morning, Chris.
Good
Nice
morning.
to see you. Lovely to have you watching us. So we look forward to having you next week, having you back with
Ashley,
us next week.
yeah. Ashley's gone and asked, do you how do you do a reading based on future stuff, non-medium related? Do you get images or is it just gut instinct? Who's going to do you want me while you're having a slurp? Shall I have a
You can answer that one, and
okay.
I'll add my 2 pence if I need to.
Okay, so future stuff. I think we were saying this right at the very beginning. Future stuff. I don't know what is the future, the present, or the past. I give what, if they're giving me images, I just give what I have got. I will, sometimes I say, well, if you can't take it, just take it with you, just if you've accepted everything else I've said and you can't take this, just take it with you, because you never know, you may find it out. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I don't know when it's going to happen. I will always say, I don't know. They're giving me, sometimes it was more weird things like weather predictions. I sometimes get like, oh yeah, no, just tell them that they'll need galoshes, which means we're going to have a lot of rain and you're going to need wellies. Or I'll get salt thrown on. Okay, you just need, if you've got steps outside, I'm being shown steps outside, can you just salt them or have some salt ready? It's going to be a hard winter. That's about as close as I get for future stuff. Now, that future may not be this year. It may be 3 years in advance. I have no time scale. There's no time scale for me. Non-medium related future stuff, just non-medium related. I find that bit difficult of your question there, because again, I've normally communicated and they've given me stuff. The nearest I've got is using my cards. I have done what I feel a reading from my card of what I feel is the month going to be or the week is going to be. That is using more my psychic, not the mediumistic. Psychic is different. It's looking at the here, now, possibly the future. Mediumship is talking to your loved ones, and they can intertwine, they can move between the two. Do you get images, or is it just gut instinct? More gut instinct for me with that one. But again, that is only a snapshot of how I feel at this time. If you had asked me the same question three months in advance, I may have, if it's kind of like, can you do a reading about the future? Yes. And then 3 months in advance, I may be giving you a different reading of what your future is going to be, because things around you have changed, things around me have changed, things have just changed generally as well. And if you're normally, people want to know about somebody else, again, they have free will, you have free will. If you're always wanting to know what's going to happen in the future, my answer will be, because I know I do this, are you going to go out there to change it? Because you can't do anything different to what you're already going to do or going to do to get to that future point. Are you now going to try to change it to get to that future point, which in that case, it will change and you won't get to that future point? Confused?
It's about the potential of you, Ashley. I'm talking about on the psychic level here. So if you came to me for a reading and I was doing a psychic reading with you, I could sort of suss out what's going on around you, but then it's up to you what you do with it. So, and if I had some people come to say to me, so am I going to get married? And I say, well, do you want to? It's as simple as that. Do you want to get married? Or, so it's we've got to remember, it's up to us what we do. We've got to accept personal responsibility for the stuff that we do. Again, it's about the potential. You could have a wonderful potential that we could see, but if you sit back and do nothing, then it won't happen. You can go for readings whereby where your future's sort of mapped out, the way your thoughts are, what they're seeing around you, and you could work towards that. So if somebody says you know you're gonna you want to travel, you're gonna go here, you're gonna do this, you've got the potential to be a wonderful writer, then you know that you've got this within you. So then you can start making plans for that, for all those things to happen. But if you sat on your sofa and did nothing, then they're not going to happen. So a lot of it is down to us. And the spirit world can guide and support. They will guide and support and say, come on. So they give you motivation to achieve your own potential, to achieve your own goals. That's sort of how it works. It's not magic. It doesn't happen. Boom, you've got this wonderful house and family. You know, you've got to go out and actually live your life and do your thing to achieve all those things that life has to offer you. So I hope that makes sense. That's just my perspective. So,
Yeah.
you know, yeah.
Miss Case Garden said, depends if the spirit uses the medium to advise of the future. Yeah, and but I think the question was non-mediumistic stuff.
Yeah, non-mediumistic stuff.
So
yeah.
I think, yeah, so I agree with that. Mediumship
Yeah.
and life guidance, futures, etc., are totally different frequencies.
When you're talking to the spirit world, they come through with support. They come through with you know, with love, and they want to talk about you, and they will help you. But again, it's up to us. But when you're working psychically and dealing with your life, then yes, it is on a different frequency, because you're blending with the person and not the spirit communicator. But then when you're doing a reading, you can go from one to another. There's times when I talk about somebody's life and then I say, hang on a minute, your mum just wants to add her little bit. She's saying, you know, remember when you were at school and I encouraged you to do X, Y, Z. You know, she's giving you that motivation. You have got it within you. So that's what the spirit world do. They come and give you help.
Yeah, Ashley's gone on to say that makes sense. I have a serious appointment today. If I think positive, would a person tell me they think it will be fine, or will they still see what they think may happen? Does your energy change the outcome of what one says? I've noticed I always get a reading correct based on my mood.
Yeah, it can. We pick up on the energy of you, especially in a psychic reading. So we can pick up your feelings, but we can also pick up information about how you have been in the past, or how you sometimes think. All those different things come into play, Ashley. We can pick up your mood at the moment, and that can direct the reading in a certain way. But we can also sense that in the past you've been positive, you've been motivated, so we can sort of say, let's steer you in that direction, let's give you some help and guidance to do the things that you've thought about doing.
Yeah.
So and the thing is, when we go to important appointments, put your teeth in, Karen, if we sit in that positive energy, if we connect, do a little positive meditation, if we think in a positive way and we go in with hope in our heart, then it could, you know, it sort of gives a good energy when we're going in, especially interviews, especially things where you've got to talk to people. And you know, if you try to have a positive outlook when you go to these important things. A friend of mine said to me, do you sit in the power before you go in to an interview? Because I was job hunting at the time, and I said no, I only do that for my mediumship. So she said, sit in the power before you go in for an interview. And I thought, oh, okay, I'll do that. So I did. And I was sort of visualizing confidence, and I was getting into my zone, and it made a difference to me. I wasn't going in there thinking I'm not good enough. I was going in there thinking they'll be lucky to have me. So that outlook, that outlook that we have, can have a positive outlook on how we deal with things as well.
So Prairie Wind and Wildflower Spiritual, I think it is. Hey, you all, have a lovely to meet you. Hope you're having a lovely, great day. Thank you. Evening. CA, take it, that's California. So Sherry Louise has gone, when learning mediumship, it also depends on the teacher you have, as wording is a big thing. And as Karen says, the emotions and the story of the spirit, i.e. their life. It is true. It is
Yeah.
also, and what I found with spiritualism, and I have actually on my website got a little bit of a glossary because we do use a number of words which no one else seems to use in other contexts of life, you know, the spiritual, the spirits, this, that, and the other. So I did start to make up, especially when I started out, making up a glossary of the different terminologies that we use. The one thing we're all really bad at saying is dead. You know, and died.
Do you know what?
They died.
I I had a conversation with somebody about this exact same thing, Emily, and it is true that you have to sort of have a glossary before you go into a spiritualist church, because we do have our own way of working.
Yeah.
And yes, Shari, I just want to just touch on what Shari said here. It is about the emotions and the story of the spirit, absolutely. And it does depend on the teacher. You know, you find the right teacher for you, and you may have to have lots of different teachers. Or, you know, I've got students with me, and they go to lots of different mentors, but they come to me. And then and also you'll find that teachers will move you on to a point, and then you might go to a different teacher, but it's got to feel right. It's about the feeling, it's about where you feel that you fit with people. I've had students with me for years, you know, for quite a few years, and they've done a lot of their training with me, and a lot of them now are out doing their private readings, working on church platforms, and I feel so proud of them that they're out there working and being true ambassadors for spirit and serving the spirit world, and work and giving mediumship readings to help make people think, to open up people's minds, to open up people's hearts, to realize that there's more to life than physical death. And also there's more to life, there's more to living as well, about having that wonderful experience and being awakened to our own spirit.
Absolutely. And one thing I just really want to quickly say as well, with going to a teacher or going to a development group or anything like this, I know we've already said it today, but it is about developing yourself. It's about learning you. Okay, more than anything else, it is that you start to learn and listen about to yourself. If you're going to intuition, it's always constantly talking to everybody. They're talking to us all the time. Do you take the time to listen? Is the question. And that's where the development part comes in. It's about developing you, not necessarily about the mediums. I've seen people who have been in mediumistic classes and development classes for years and years and years, and actually they're healers, but they're really desperately wanting to be a medium. And kind of go, but your forte is in healing. That's your gift, you know. So you know, it's about learning about yourself as well. I just wanted to add that point in.
Absolutely, I agree 100% with you there, Emily. It's about the awareness of self, learning about yourself, and dealing with the, you know, sort of like the traumas that you have and the ups and downs of life. You know, life throws us curveballs quite a few times, and you know, we can sort of, when you understand that, and sort of it's healing is a big part, and healing is a very important part of what we do. All mediumship is healing, and it can help, and it can, you know, it can enlighten people, but you've got to, you know, you've got to use your own common sense, and you've got to be, you know, you've got to be aware and think about things, and if it feels right for you, then fine. You know, a lot of my friends and family, when I started going to the spiritualist church, they thought, well, you know, what's happening? Why are you going to this church? Why are you suddenly wanting to be at the church all the time? And I said, well, because I'm learning something about myself, but I'm also learning about, you know, that we live on and we can move forward. And it was when I think back, it is about learning about yourself and evolving into the person that you're meant to be. And that happened because I walked into a spiritualist church. I don't know what would have happened if I hadn't. Maybe I would have evolved in a different way, but I'm pleased that I did, because I've learned a lot about myself.
Yeah. The fairy winds, sorry, I'm going to cut that down. Fairy winds and wildflowers. And we create, whilst we speak, manifest our thoughts and project and attract what we feel. We all have intuition, which is what I was saying, and choices that the human, which is what we're both saying, 3D, physical, magic, we all forget we have, which again, it's all about the development, isn't it, really? And it's just really kind of, and again, it goes back to that whole thing of where do we start out? It's understanding that we need to listen to ourselves sometimes. We really, you know, we can listen to ourselves. Our bodies do speak to us, funnily enough. We just need to listen to it.
Our bodies speak, and our spirit speaks to us, and it is, you know, it is that time for listening, and mediums have to listen. So that's important. So we're just going to take a short break, and then we'll come back and we will be doing some readings. So I'm going to say, Roland Richard, please.
Introducing the SPTV app, your digital spiritual guide for an enlightening journey like no other. Immerse yourself in a world of audio and visual content crafted to inspire, educate, and entertain. Seek guidance with our card of the day, choosing up to 6 cards for personal insights. Enhance your daily life with our wellness section, featuring nutritious recipes, affirmations, and balanced living tips. Explore our spiritualism section for a deep understanding of the religion, its principles, and spiritual answers. Unravel the secrets of the clairs and broaden your spiritual horizon. Easily find local readers, therapists, centers, or churches with our comprehensive directory. Stay connected with live broadcasts, check our schedule, and get to know our insightful presenters. Delve into the meanings of angel numbers, crystals, and a comprehensive list of divination meanings. All of this and more, available for free on the SPTV app. Download now at sptv.uk/app and start your journey with your digital spiritual guide.
And we're back. Now, I know I said we were going to just go on to readings, but Serendipity has just put up this amazing question, a quote here. Our mind is like a garden. We need to be good gardeners, water the positive seeds and bloom. Now, I love a little bit of synchronicity, as you all know, and that is so true. And I just want to say, serendipity, that this, what you've just said, relates to this a passage in this book called Echoes, and it's teachings from the past, wisdom for the present. And there's a gentleman in here, and I used this book for an exercise for my group. And I gave them this passage by a gentleman called Will Ford, who was a Welsh minister back in the early 1900s. And he wrote a passage all about the spiritual garden and how we need to nurture ourselves like a garden and be positive. And it just resonated with me so much. And it is true. If we think of our life as a garden, where do we need to look at that garden within ourselves? What do we need to nurture? And also, things that in our garden come up at different times of the year. We bloom at different times of the year. We sort of go, things sort of go to sleep. We go into hibernation. We replenish during the summer. And if you think of the sunflower, which is the flower of spiritualism, when that sunflower is in bloom, and there's a few in my neighbour's garden, I've got one come out in my garden, and I absolutely love it. And when we look at that bloom, the sunflower always turns its head to the sun, to the light. And that's what we should do. We should always turn our head to the light, and we should let that beautiful bloom that we are, that beautiful flower, shine out for all to see, because that spirit, that wonderful flower that we are, shines. So thank you so much for for sharing that with us, Serendipity. And I just can't get over how you brought that up. And I was reading that quote about a week or so ago with my group. So yeah, you know me, I love a little bit of synchronicity. And I've always got this book to hand. It's called Echoes, and it's by Deborah Skelton. It was compiled together. And when you read some of the quotes that go back to the early 1900s and even the 1800s, from people that you might not necessarily recognize their names, but their writing sort of speaks for itself, and it's still relevant today as it was back then. So, thank you very much for that. I get excited when things like that happen, Emily.
No, it's good. No, it's absolutely good, because it also, I actually took a picture of it on my phone, because I think it's a fab thing what you've written down there, Serendipity, because actually, our mind is like a garden, absolutely, but then I'm relating that to my body. If am I looking after myself well enough to have a beautiful garden? Actually, at the moment, I've overfed the garden, so the garden needs to be held back with the feeding. More watering, less food. Come on, we can do it. So we can, I'm looking at it in that way as well. So, which is fabulous. But yeah, our minds, we only know a fraction of our minds. I just wanted to also say, while I was at university, and this may throw up loads of comments from you guys, because I was always very hard on myself when I was at learning about mediumship or becoming a medium, or in fact I was already doing platform work when I was at university, but I would still question everything that I would do. And I came across in a psychological periodical magazine, so this is a scientific peer-reviewed magazine article, and it was talking about schizophrenics and mediums. What's the difference? Really interesting article. In fact, I printed it out. And basically, at the end of this was written early 2000s, right? So it's quite a while ago now. And they were saying the difference is how a medium and how a schizophrenic actually processes trauma. So, Karen, you were saying earlier on about mediums, and sometimes it's how we literally you were saying how we process our trauma and putting, and that because we can smell things, we can hear things that nobody else can, we can smell things that nobody else can, we have people talking to us that nobody else can hear. So we kind of go into this kind of a psychotic phase, if you like, almost. And I found it really quite fascinating to see it from that perspective of that actually they say, well, we're absolutely fine because we can process the trauma that has occurred. And it's normally a traumatic event that will create either a medium or that will create a schizophrenic, in that hyper state, not all of the time, guys, just put that out there. But it is, when we kind of, they have a psychosis, someone has a psychosis of some description, it is a traumatic event that has occurred. And for me, mine kind of went to being that level of kind of like, okay, I sort of know things, but I'm not really a medium, to my dad dying and standing in front of me at the point of his death and saying, no, I'm absolutely fine, thank you, I'm 150 miles away from him, but there he is, surrounded, beautiful image that he gave me. So that was but I could understand it, I could interpret it, so I didn't go into a psychotic thing. Just putting it out there, I'm just relating to you as though that has been looked at in a scientific method, and not just the school of psych research, as in, but this is somebody who's actually looking at it in a psychiatry magazine. So we do get looked at. She said, twitching, you're right.
Do you know what? It's interesting. It is interesting, and I do like the science side. And I have a good friend that is interested in that sort of sign. And I do know that a couple of mediums that have the psychotherapists that have got psychology degrees, and they look at things in a different way. So it's interesting. I might get you to send me that article, because I do like to broaden my horizons too, and it is interesting.
Mm.
And I know that there's been scientific studies on the brainwaves of mediums. I know back last year, a few colleagues were going off to a university, a hospital part of a university, to work and so that people are studying how the brain works with mediumship. So there have been sort of there are studies out there that go on, because it is quite a fascinating subject. I don't know all the science side of it, but it's interesting to think about, and something that I do talk about with colleagues quite often. So a good point there, Emily. So thank you for sharing that. That's interesting. So I know that we've got lots of comments coming up, and we haven't been able to answer all your comments today, but we do have to go into the reading time now, because I know there are some people that want some readings. But I just want to say thank you for being so interactive, everybody. And if this is the sort of thing that you want, let us know, because I love a good debate and a good discussion, as you know. So we will be bringing more of this into the show, because it seems to be that this is what you like. So we will be doing more of this. But I am aware that Spirit are waiting, and I think Emily's got her cards as well. So I'm going to go first, and then Emily, if you want to do one after me, because I have got a very patient father here, waiting patiently to talk to his loved ones. And do you know what? He's the feeling, we're talking about feelings here. The feelings I get from him is that he was very patient. He had a very strong connection with his daughter. I get the sense of daddy's girl. And I just feel that he had some breathing issues, because I feel labored around the chest area. And I just feel that there was breathing issues, and also, and I can't say this word very well, but some sort of arrhythmia with his heart, something about his heart slowing, or his heartbeat sort of struggling with that. But I do feel in his younger day that he was an active man. And I feel that he was very young. He would have done running. He would have been quite sporty. So I just know that towards the end of his life, he sort of slowed right down. But there was a very strong connection with his daughter here. And I just feel that sometimes that you two would pick up the phone and know that the other had been thinking about you. I just feel the sense of daddy's girl. And he's just such a warm, charismatic man. And I do feel he's got a very gentle voice. Kim, you can understand this. He's got a very soft voice. Okay, your dad had lung cancer. Okay, Jessica, let me just work this out. It's sort of like the heart here. I want to focus on the heart. And this voice, he's got a beautiful voice. He was very well spoken. And carry him up. And okay, so he was very well spoken. It's almost like he could put you to sleep, like a meditation voice. And he was very articulate as well, because he's making me slow down. And I feel that he spoke slowly, and he had this loving way about him. Now, whoever I'm with, and I know a few people have put your hands up, and you've been very good on the old typing today, but I just feel here he's drawing my attention to a holiday. And I do feel, he has a radio voice. That's the one, Carrie. That's the one. Carrie, let me work with you. And I just feel here, and I do feel that he loved the beach, because he's showing me this beach where he would have walked. And I feel that he would have, you and him would have walked along this beach hand in hand. And you as a young child would have picked up stones and shells and put them in a bucket. He's giving me this memory of you picking up things from the beach in a bucket. And I also feel that he had a great knowledge about sort of geology or things about the beach, because I feel that this was his passion. And he loved life. He loved life, Carrie. So I just feel here that he's just sort of stepping forward, because he wants to give you upliftment about loving your life. And I know that he wants to sort of say, pick yourself up, girl, chin up, because he's pushing my chin up. So I feel he would have done that for you. He would have pushed your chin up and said, come on, keep your chin up, keep going. There we go. So Carrie, I am with you. So that's wonderful. So he's sort of like saying, chin up, girl, you know, keep going. And he's got that memory of the beach. And for him, it was the place where he found solace, where he found peace. He's got a cheeky sense of humor as well. And I do feel he loved a laugh. And I do feel he liked to watch a few comedy programs on the TV, and he loved a little bit of comedy, he loved jokes. And he's saying, I love jokes, but I wasn't that great at delivering them. But he did love humor. And I just feel here that he could put things into perspective. And he's giving me another memory of you coming in like a ball of energy, sort of like talking 19 to the dozen about your life. And all of a sudden, I just feel here that he would sort of say, slow down, calm down. And he would get you to think about things in a different way. And you'd leave him sort of feeling 100% better. And there's this healing vibe about him. I just feel that his presence, you sat in his presence and he was healing. He just gave that sense of security, that sense of healing, and that sense of love. And he was quite photogenic. So I do feel, Carrie, that you have some great photos of him. And I feel there's shots taken unexpected, not posy ones where he just looked up and photos were taken of him. And I do feel here that he did love social gatherings as well. And I'm just seeing a champagne glass. So I feel here he's talking about some sort of celebration that's coming up. So I want to go to the end of October, about the 30th of October, for an anniversary or a birthday. And well, he's saying you can still talk to me. I'm still listening to you, you know. I've just moved into a slightly different dimension, but I still know when you talk to me. And I do feel he loved a good book, because he's got a book here with a bookmark in. So I feel he would like to read at night. He would have read a few passages at night. And he just, you know, and he had his favorite chair, because I'm sitting down in this lovely comfortable chair, and he's just sitting there, and he just enjoyed his life, and he loved you to bits, Carrie. So take his love. And he's just saying, don't give up hope. You know, you've got that strength, you've got that focus. And I feel that he just wants you to get back on track. Your brother's birthday. Okay, well, happy birthday. And he's just moving you into that different state of focus, as he would have done if he was here. He's saying, think about things in a different way. You know, you know, just take time out to sort your thoughts out, because he said at the moment all your thoughts are jumbled up like you used to rush in as a teenager. He's saying just think about things in sort of like chronological order. I feel he was quite a methodical man. He would have had a lot of order about his life. He liked order. And he liked to sort things out. And he's saying it will get sorted out, but you've just got to you know, take your time about things. And he's just giving you a lot of love. And he's laughing now after you said that, I need to learn patience. Oh yes, she does. He says she's never had it. She's never had patience. And he was always trying to slow you down and just to keep you calm. But he's doing that now, and he's sending his love. So I hope that makes sense to you. And thank you for working with me.
Fabulous. So I'm going to, that's a lovely. In fact, I was thinking, Karen, that you may have been with me, especially when you mentioned the geology, because that also sounded like my dad. So I was smiling away, kind of going, oh, that reminds me of my dad. But I know it's Carrie Ann, it's for you. Don't worry, it's for you. So Richard, you know, I tend to work with giving Richard a number. And I want to go to number 4, Richard, because I've just been shouted out number 4. So I've shuffled the cards, and a couple of cards fell out. So I'm going to the first card that fell out. Hoshnia. Is that how you pronounce it? Hoshnia? Punisher? I hope I always get the interesting names. We'll put it that way. Interesting names. Right, so this is the card. Hopefully that you can see it. No.
Ooh.
That way round. Okay, so I'm going to do it that way round. Okay. You can see it okay? I'm just going to hold it a little bit straighter so you can see it's purple at that end. So remember, everything's backwards. Right, so as I, for me, when I'm looking at this card, it's kind of, we can see the blue coming in from this angle. For me, that's all about communication. And that I can see that you're all about the heart. And it's almost, for me, when I'm looking at this, so this is on a psychic level, guys. This is not mediumistic yet. This is psychic, okay? So when I'm looking at this, I feel as though, I want to say you're wearing your heart on your sleeve all of the time, and it's about protecting. And while I've just gone and said that, I stopped and smiled because I suddenly had a lady say, and I'm here, and I'm here. So I want to talk to you about this lady who she's coming in. I know, but she's just, you're not, okay, just one thing at a time. This is a very talkative lady. But she's trying to help you because it's almost as though you're trying to get the words out, but you're not able to get your words out. Communicating for me is about your feelings as well as the words. All right, so there's a mismatch going on here. It's not kind of coming through straight away. Now, this is an older lady. This is a lady who, for me, I want to go to grandparent generation. This is a lady who she would always have the wise words to say, but you wouldn't necessarily always listen to her. And she would often feel like she's hitting her head against a brick wall, especially with the young ones. She said, I'm constantly hitting my head against a brick wall. She passed away quite quickly. Yes, she had ailments. Yes, she had issues to do with her body. Yes, she was taking pills. And that's what she says, well, what old lady doesn't take pills? We can list them all for you. So she's got a fantastic sense of humor to go along with this. And she's able to laugh at herself. And that's what you're not doing. Oh, bless her, she's just gone chatting. That's what you're not, it's you being able to take yourself in a lighter sense of humor. This is where this yellow streak is coming in. It's about seeing the lighter side of things. Thank you for putting it back. Thank you. And she's saying, just see it as in a lighter sense. You don't have to constantly be very serious all the time. I'm hoping this makes sense. Just interrupt me at any point. And she's just kind of going, but absolutely you can interrupt her. You can totally interrupt her. She's just going to keep on going. Now, this may be one of two ladies that you're also thinking of. A lady who is you would kind of go, okay, just let me brace myself because I know I'm going to talk. She will talk a lot. She will absolutely talk a lot. And you come out almost kind of completely drained because you've had to concentrate and listen. But what she's trying to say in a very concise manner is she understands that you're wearing your heart on your sleeve. Okay, let's pull it away from your sleeve a little bit. Look at yourself in a lighter sense of in a lighter way, in a way with a little bit of humor. You're allowed to laugh. We're allowed to laugh at ourselves, absolutely, but not to the point of where you hurt yourself. Okay, it's not about hurting yourself. It's about looking after yourself. And this is about listening to yourself, but it's also about communicating. It is also, that would be my nan. She passed away so sudden and loved over talking. Well, absolutely. So, you just over talk her. It's absolutely fine because she'll carry on talking. But this is about emotions as well. Because there is green here, which is about wisdom. All right. For me, I don't know if you can see, there's a darker green element here. And that darker green element is all about the wisdom that you've got within you. It's, how to communicate to others. It's just that you've kind of shut it all down at the moment. She said, no, you've got valuable things to say. You can do the healing. You can look after other people. She's saying it's almost as though you're taking it, but there's something that's happened that she keeps on repeating. You're taking it far too seriously. Come on, let's be a duck. Take those emotions. Sometimes just have them as droplets of water on the back of the duck. They just come on off. Don't take those words that you're taking on from other people far too seriously. I've had this conversation with you, haven't I, Kathleen? If not, I feel very much deja vu has just suddenly come in. So I know whatever it is that I'm saying to you, something here is resonating with you. So if it's other people, you feel like you're being hurt, see yourself as a duck with the feathers and their words are water. Let it just rip off of you. just give yourself a shake and they're all gone. You know, it's about that communicating. They are not communicating well, but it is, oh, honestly, she's wanting to jump at this straight after you. That's twice now. But this is about you getting to have that understanding. Use your wisdom. You've got it there. You've got it. You've got it. She keeps on saying you've got it. Now, don't forget, you've got to have that ice cream. Why an ice cream? Because she's been too hot. Have you been too hot? Okay, fine, all right. And and also it's comfort food. Oh, is that your comfort food go-to? But you like the Mr. Whippy. All right, she's talking about you liking the Mr. Whippy. Oh, so do I. Haven't had one for years. But have the 1.99p plate, not the two. Come on. Just have the one and no syrup. That's good syrup. Thank you. No syrup or anything, just plain. Thank you very much. Sort out the case and just kind of enjoy life. Go back to being a child again. All right. Sometimes we adults are but children in bigger bodies. That's an interesting way of putting that. Oh, okay, all right, I'll go with that. Right, I'll leave that one there with you. Bless you. Thank you very much for working with me. Thank you.
Oh, Emily, that was brilliant. I love that. It's like I love that. I love those cards as well. They're very touchy-feely. I want to get hold of them. They're really lovely. Great cards. Really nice.
On my website, you just need to go to emilyjbaker.co.uk and you can pick up a pack.
Oh, I might just do that because I'm thinking of different ways that you could do a lot of teaching with them cards. I'm thinking to myself.
That's what they were designed for. They were designed for teaching primarily.
Well, there you go. There you go. I think I might be getting myself a pack. So, Mr. Whippy is the only ice cream I like. Oh, I like Mr. Whippy as well with a great big fat flake in it. Lovely.
Yes.
And the syrup.
Yes.
The syrup. Yeah. Lovely. Oh, you've got us all wanting an ice cream.
I know.
Okay, so I've got a lovely lady here. And I know that she's mum and she's got a great energy as well. And she's quite an interesting character. Because I just feel here that she was very easily distracted, this lady. You know, she'd start doing one thing and she would sort of like then go on to another thing. And I do also feel, and she's admitting this herself, that she did like to know what was going on with everybody. She was a little bit nosy and she did like a bit of a gossip. And I feel that when you phoned her up, she'd always say, "Oh, do you never know what's happened at number 47?" So I just feel we've got that sort of vibe going on here with her. I just feel that she loved to know what was going on. And sometimes she would always put other people before herself. And I do feel that she sometimes didn't look after herself and take care of her own health. Because she was too busy and she didn't want to think about what was going on with her. And I do feel that this was a cancer condition. And I feel here that she sort of put things to one side about going to the doctors because she didn't particularly like the doctor. And I also know that that whoever I'm with, there is a diamond ring. She's talking about the engagement ring. So I know that it's a diamond engagement ring that is connected with her. I feel that she lived, she knew everybody around her area. She knew everybody where she lived. I feel that she was always sort of like a very busy lady. And she'd sort of get distracted. And I also feel here, I'm hearing birds. So I feel it's the tweet, tweet, tweet of budgerigars or small birds. Oh, Amanda, this possibly could be your mum. Okay. And I'm hearing, and so does Nicola, I'm hearing the birds. So I'm hearing these birds tweet, tweet, tweet in the background. And so you can understand this as well, Jessica. But would you understand the birds as well? Because I feel that there was two the two birds. And all right, so Amanda, you can understand this as well. Now she's also given me the name of Henry, so I feel that this was somebody in the family, and I feel it could be connected to an uncle. But I also feel here that she's showing me a pile of letters. So I know that she kept letters. She had a parrot, Amanda. Okay. But would you understand letters? Because I'm feeling here that she had a pile of letters, or she kept lots of stuff going back, and there was quite a lot of stuff a lot of stuff that that you had to go through. There was boxes of stuff that she kept, because I feel that she was a little bit of a hoarder, that she never liked to throw anything away. She kept things very close to her. This is what she's making me aware of. So Richard, how many people have I got left out of the little group that sort of said that could understand it? Who have I got? Can you give me the names of? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, okay, right, right. Okay, okay, okay. I feel sort of drawn between a Nicola and an Amanda. And I just feel here that I just feel slightly drawn to you two. So I'm just going to ask her for something else here. And she's just showing me, and it's back to the food again. She's just showing me a sponge cake. So I know that that she would have loved, or she used to make sponge cakes. And I feel we've got the Victoria sponge, but also the treacle sponge, the sponge or the jam sponge with custard. So I know that that would have been something that I'm salivating here because I do like a bit of cake. So she's just making me aware of cake. So I know that cake was quite important to her. And I also feel that she could never find things. She'd lose things. And I've got her looking through drawers, and all these drawers have got all sorts of stuff in them. You know, she's sort of opening all the drawers, and there's loads of stuff, and you can't get the drawers closed because there was lots of stuff sort of all over the place. But do you know what? She's such a kind soul. And I feel that she'd always have time for people. She would listen to people. And you know, there was a little bit of vulnerability and a little bit of sadness about her. And I just feel here that she's just stepping forward because she's saying that there were some things that were not said between you. So, okay, so she loved cake. And so okay, Amanda, I'm going to work with you here. And I just feel that there's something about, um, right, okay, she always cooked Victoria sponge when we were growing up. It's difficult to call this, so I'm going to ask her for something else. She had time for everyone and not herself. Okay. Now let's just see what else she's giving me here. I just feel that when she said when the end comes, when the end came, she's looking back, and she looked back a lot in her life, and I feel that she'd wish she'd done lots of things. And I feel whoever I'm with, whether it's Nicola or Amanda, there's something that you're thinking about doing, and she wants you to do that. She wants you to stop putting everybody else first, because I feel that you've been doing that. You've been putting yourselves sort of not putting yourselves first, and she wants you to do this particular trip or something that you need to do. She wants you to do it and not be like her. All right, okay, all right then. So Nicola, I'm going to work with you because it looks like you can take more of the information here. But she's just saying she wants you to reach for the stars. She's talking about reach for the stars. And I know that's a song by Steps or S Club 7, one or t'other. But I just feel that I've got that song playing in my head now, and she's talking about reach for the stars. So I feel it could be a memory of you playing it when you were younger, but she's also talking about it. She's also talking about it as you reach for the stars. She wants you to, she's tapping into what I spoke about, realizing your own potential, and stop thinking you can't. Because I feel that going back in her younger life, she had this hang up. She sort of thought that she couldn't do it. She wasn't good enough. And she said, then you sort of like hem yourself in. And I do feel that she sort of hemmed herself in, going through her life. And I just feel she wants you to do what's right for you. She's saying, I'm not saying that I didn't enjoy my life, but she's saying that she knows that there's something that you want to do, and she's pushing you to do it. She's saying, believe in yourself. And I feel that that's what she would have said to you when you were younger. And she's giving me a memory just before I leave you. She's giving me a memory here to say, you know, there was a time when there was something you couldn't do within your homework or some schoolwork, and you threw the book down and said, I can't do it. And she says, yes, you can. And I feel that she encouraged you to take it step by step. And she's saying that's what you need to do now. So take her love. And thank you for working with me, Nicola. Thank you.
Fabulous. Yeah, that's lovely. Thank you very much. Yes. Go for it. Go for it, Nicola. Go for it. Right. So I want to go to number 22, Richard. I know I've got a gentleman with me, and this gentleman, I'm going to show the contrast. You know, they're all just and it is that way. It is. Are we sure it's that way or not that way? No, it's that way, isn't it? Yes, it's right. Can you see that? Okay, guys. Can you see that? Yeah. Oh, is it Nicola? Oh, okay. Right, okay. Just bear with me because I just had number 22 being shouted. Nicola, this may also be. Can you understand a gentleman who had issues to do with lungs? And I mean by that, he coughed a lot. Fine, Nicola. But I do want to go to somebody who this would make sense to, because I've got this gentleman. Just have to remind me if I can't see the card. Because I'll go off back of it, so less there. But this to me looks like lungs. Okay, this is why I'm kind of going, oh my God, okay, this is definitely for somebody. And I want to talk about this gentleman. Is it making sense to anybody yet, Richard? Older gentleman, more grandfather, very slow in moving, would have had kind of purple lips. You would have known that he would have also had purple lips, which is also to do with the heart. Okay, if someone's got Miss K can. Okay, and you can understand this. He is a gentleman who had his favorite chair. No, not me. Okay, had his favorite chair. Had his slippers. He would love his slippers. Now the slippers are not the full shoe. They're the slip-on slippers. Okay, so they're half a mule. Half a mule, I've been told they're half a mule. So what do you call them? Okay, fine. No backs, but fronts. Okay, so fancy. Suffered with emphysema. Okay, Leslie. Can you understand about he's showing you the slippers, which would be, well, actually, these were the newer ones. I can get with this, Ashley. Okay, all right, so that's two people. He had heart failure too, all right. I can see him being more of a emphysema, heart trouble. Okay, he has more of a port, but you can understand the slippers on the chair. Okay, Leslie can understand everything so far. Anybody else? Just out of the other two, Jessica, lung cancer. Okay, I still feel as though I'm with was it Leslie? That I was just seeing now. Yeah, Leslie. Leslie, can I just work with you? Because I just feel as though I just want to work with you. Now, I do feel as though getting him out, he knew that he shuffled. Didn't walk, he shuffled. Because although because of the slippers, he felt like he would fall out of the slippers, but he didn't like the full shoe. Because of his build, I'm being very polite then. I know, thank you. You're welcome. He's just saying, yeah, I had problems in bending over, but he also wants to say he had gammy legs. Now that's his words, not mine. He said he had gammy legs. All right, so this I feel as though he may have had. Okay, we'll say it. All right, I'll say it. Varicose veins. But he also had quite enlarged legs as well. So not only does he have problems with his chest, his lungs, he also has problems with his heart. And I also feel as though he's got this retained fluid going on as well, which is pressing on all of the organs throughout the body. So, you know, he was quite uncomfortable. However, I will say as well, he's wearing a cardigan. It's grey, it's done up, but it looks big for him. So that indicates to me he actually lost weight as well. Had revolting legs. They used to leak all over his slippers. Okay, so you can understand all of that. So when you have the retained water and especially in the legs, they will weep out. Okay, so I can totally understand that. And as a guess, I know I'll have to go and use that word again, gammy, because I think any knock or anything that he had the water would come out. So his skin is very quite frail with his legs. Okay, there's no resilience there. And I want to talk about, that's the word you want. I know I've got there in the end. I want to talk about resilience for you, Leslie. I really want to talk about resilience because he's saying, come on, you've got it, okay? Now, he actually wants me to turn this, yes, card, he lost weight, thank you. I want to turn this card upside down, all right? I want to turn it that way around. And now, this way, I want to show you the cross. And he's saying, use it as a sword. Come on, Leslie, you can do it. You're more resilient because you've got it in you. All right, you have got it in you. Look how good these lungs are. So he's taking away this, but he's showing this passion. All right, you've got the passion. You've got the ability to do it. If you turned it up this way, this is like the fire is not in the right place. It's all in the top half. He wants you to have the fire in the belly. You've got the fire in the belly, Leslie, to keep on going, all right? You've got the resilience there within you. It's kind of, this is almost like a shield. I want to say, and you just beat back though, it's not beating back the flames, it's beating back off everything else that comes within you. You've got that within you. Hopefully this is making sense. But it's resilience. You've got the resilience. It's kind of like, pick yourself, oh, I've got that song, pick yourself off, dust yourself off, start all over again. You know, I learned that with tap dancing. I was really bad at tap dancing. And then my left, my right. Poor dance teachers said, can you stand at the back? In fact, best of all, don't come to the recital. Okay, I understand that. But you know what he's talking about. But it's fine. It was kind of like, okay, I understand it. I'll keep on going. And I'll, you know, to this day, I still do a little bit of tap shuffleboard stuff in my own home. But it comes into play with other things. You've got all the skills there, I want to say as well. You've got the skills that you can use for other things, all right? Don't think outside of the box. So my shuffleboard step is very much like dance moves that I use for circle dancing, for instance. And it comes up really handy in the disco when I have no idea what kind of move I'm going to be doing next. But I've got the skill set there to know that I can move my body. Use the skill set that you've got within you. You have got that resilience to keep on going. And in fact, on the screen, this side looks like a heart. You know, you are all there about the heart. Use the resilience with that. You can do it. And he is really egging you on. Oh God, he loved eggs. Oh, he loved eggs. I can smell the eggs. Right. I like eggs, boiled eggs. That's absolutely fine. But he liked, I can't eat whites of eggs. But he liked egg mayonnaise with a little bit of watercress, didn't he? He liked that. Or cress, just normal cress, not watercress, because that's overpowering at times. And he also got it stuck in his teeth most of the time, bless him. What teeth he did have, and that they weren't the dentures. Dentures at the front, own teeth at the back. But he's just also given me that he would sometimes pick out, but he liked egg mayonnaise because it was easy to eat. White bread, a little bit of extra butter on there. Thank you very much. And if he was being really posh, he would take off the crusts. But actually, sometimes the crust gave him that little bit of extra. That's why I just give you that. But you know, sometimes it's not bad to have a little bit of extra as well. As we go for it, just go for it. He's saying, you know, life's too short not to. So I'm just going to leave that with you, Leslie. Thank you very much.
Oh, that was
Oh, okay. Jane, I've just heard that you can also take a lot of that. Please understand then, if you can also take about the resilience, go for it. Go for it. Send that out to both of you.
Oh, that's lovely. That's lovely. I love those cards. The more I look at them, the more I want to get a pack. So thank you so much, Emily. We've come to the end of our show. And I don't know about everybody on SPTV and the family. I've had a ball. It's been absolutely brilliant. And I want to say thank you, Emily, for joining me this morning and being my co-host, my partner in crime. It's been wonderful. And I hope that you'll come back and join us again. When Chris gets back, you know, maybe come on as a guest again, because it's really lovely to have you, especially with those cards as well. And I hope that everybody out there has enjoyed it as much as I have. And don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, we have the amazing Deb Clark tonight at 7 o'clock and the wonderful Emily Baker on Thursday at 7. and she will be on giving more readings. And do you do your spirit art on Thursday? You do.
I will be actually, because the one that I had earlier on in the month, that was just me using my cards. So this time around, it'll just be psychic art.
Wow. So that'll be something to look forward to. So I hope that you've enjoyed being with us as much as we've enjoyed being with you. Thank you, of course, to our wonderful Richard behind the scenes doing all the techie stuff. I'd rather do this than do his job. We wouldn't have any show if I was doing the techie stuff because it's not my forte. But it's been wonderful to be with you. And I hope that we've allowed you to start your day in a positive way, to think about mediumship, you know, and to go to a church and to enjoy your gifts and enjoy your spiritual journey. And we look forward to seeing you next week. And I hope that you have a wonderful week, whatever you're doing. And we will be back next week, hopefully with Chris. I'm going to check in with him to make sure he's going to join me next week. But it's been our pleasure to start your day on a Monday morning. So it's a goodbye from me.
Thank you, and thank you so much for having me as your guest today. It's been an absolute pleasure, and I hope to see all of you again on Thursday. So thank you very much again.
So goodbye, everybody. Yes, I
Yes.
do. We both do private readings, Ashley. So
Yeah.
you can find us on Facebook, or Richard puts our websites on the it's on the screen, our website. So if you want book private readings with either of us, please get in contact.
Yeah.
So thank you for that. And it's been our pleasure to be with you today. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.